Hello everyone and welcome back to Painting with Martin. Today we're looking at a game called 12 Rivers and I'm going to show you a limited how to play video in this one. I'm not going to show you how to play it fully until the very end of the game, but just for you to have a basic idea how to play it and some basic strategies as well. This is a game that came out last year at Essen Spiel by BG Nations and Good Games Publishing, and it was also designed by Romain Cattedejean. Hopefully I pronounced that one correctly. Art is by Dauphin. And the publishers were kind enough to actually give me this game so I could show you how to play this one on my channel. So let's get started with taking a look at what is the aim of the game. The aim of the game is to get as many victory points as possible. You play it over 5 rounds and it plays 2 to 4 players. Now, I haven't played it with 2 players, but I have played it with 3 and 4, and I really like the experience. Now, let's take a look at setup first. Now, first of all, I have to say, I live next to a road, so unfortunately there might be some noise. And I also have a dog listed over here, so she may actually choose to stick her head up and join us slightly as well. This is a 3D board, so you actually put in some, let's see if I can put this correctly. There are some 2 stands here and here that you actually construct the board, putting them underneath. And then it kind of like raises up as such. I'm moving around over here, so because I don't have a dedicated studio unless I'm actually doing painting, which I do on my other videos. Now, the first thing you need to do is to set up the board in the center of the table. The next thing you need to do is see how many players you're going to play. So in this case, I'm going to show the game for 3 players. But for 2 players, please consult with the rule book exactly how you set it up. It's quite self-explanatory, but for 3 players, I take this little floodgate over here. I'm not going to lift it up now because otherwise the pearls will fall down. It looks like this, okay? And then I fill in the pearls from the kind of like drawstring bag over here with exactly 9 pearls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. For a full player game, you use, of course, all the spaces. And for only 2 players, you use a limited section of the board. Now, when you've done this one and you've drawn put them up over here, make sure, of course, you don't put this one out because otherwise the pearl's going to fall and you're going to have to do it all over again. Then what you do next is that you take these fairy tokens here. In this case, you take as many as there are players. In this case, we're taking 3 at random, and we're placing them here on the stubs here, on like entry tree stumps. Since we play 5 rounds, on rounds 1, 3, and 5 as in odd numbers, we place them over here. So we place them 1 over there, 1 over there, and 1 over here. So you do left to right, top to bottom. Okay, so for example, in a 4-player game, this stump will also be placed with a fairy token. In even-numbered rounds, you also place these ones on the foxes, but not on the stubs. So if there already is a token there, you simply add another one there. It's actually really good. So with that one said, now everyone has to select their player colors. There are 4 player colors. There is tan, green, blue, and red. I've only selected the blue, green, and red here because it's simply a 3-player game. I selected those colors. So everyone takes a llama of their color, which is green, and then we have blue over here. They also take a starting villager tile, and they are numbered here. There's 1 here, and there is a 2 over here, and then there is a 3 over here as well in their color. Then what you do next is that you simply take whoever decides to go first. You can do randomly, or you can select, and you simply take your first these tribal tokens and place them up here in the first space. Okay, then we decide to go for green as a second one, then we go for red, and then it continues like this, and this has formed the turn order track. This may actually change slightly during the next couple of rounds, but I will show you how to do that. So as you can see here, this is how it goes, and you can clearly see who is next as such. Now we've done this one. Then what you do next is you deal everyone 6 cards. These are the cards here. I've sleeved the cards here, And you can choose, of course, not to sleeve with them, but I always try to play with sleeved cards to keep those cards as safe as possible for as long as possible. You deal 6 cards to each player, and then you form a market here with a draw deck, as well as 3 cards drawn at random over here. You also take the llama scoring cards, alpaca scoring cards, these are alpacas, and place them over here next to the market. And they correspond to 1 in each color of the marbles. Now, or pearls actually, I should say pearls. Then you form the villager market, and you draw 6 villages, regardless if it's just 2 players or 4 players, doesn't matter, it's 6 villages, and put them out over here, corresponding to the villager section over here, and leaving the draw deck over here as well. Then you are more or less done with the setup, except for you take these fairy token explanations, they're not double-sided, and place them within easy reach for all players. This is setup. Now, I may have missed something, and hopefully I didn't, but in case I did miss something, then just let me know, and I'll add it in the corrections for this video. Now, in 12 Rivers, you're going to play it in rounds. In 5 rounds, and after the end of the 5th round you will go to final scoring, and you will score as many victory points as you possibly can. You will score victory points based on the number of pearls you have, and the pearls are scored individually, with the white pearl scoring 5 points, purple 4 points, pink 3 points, and blue 2 points, and green 1 point. You will also score points if you have managed to transfer your pearls from your alpacas, and I'll come to that in a second, to your villages, and they will score you certain points. So, for example, the basic village you have over here means that if you manage to fill this one entirely, that means a white pearl, a pink pearl, and 2 blue ones. Then this one is scored 3 points, and for every village that you have managed to fill with the correct number of pearls, it scores 3 additional more points. So you can actually rack up some nice points. And everyone starts with this one, but with different combination of pearls. So what's going on next? Now, you are going to take turns simply placing your villager and your tribal tokens on these sections on the board, acting as dams. You can also place them down here to get new villages, which can be a good way to get more scoring points. So how do you do that? Now, the cards that you have in your hand acts as resources, because to place your dam or your tribal token as a dam or as a villager, to get a villager, will cost you certain cards. So here, let's start with a villager here. It will cost you 2 cards to get first pick, 1 card to get second pick, and then 0 cards to get any picks over here. Obviously, you want to get it in the leftmost selection. Now, so for example, I want my blue tribe here to simply gain, okay, great, I really want a card to be fixed up first. Okay, they are not resolved immediately, they're only resolved after all the players have placed their tribal tokens in the section of going top to bottom, left to right. Okay, he still has to play 1 card that, and I will come to what these cards do in a second, but I think he wants to do the provision card. So he will pay this card, he will place it next to the discard pile over here, make sure that you have space for it, and that means he has successfully placed one of his tribal tokens there. Then let's go on to the green player. The green player feels that maybe he actually feels that he wants to get a dam open. So he places his dam over here, and that means when the pearls are flipped down, we'll see that in a second, he actually has to pay only 0 cards for this one. Moving on to the red player. Red player feels this one was a pretty bad move for green, because he could have actually placed it over here and gotten these tribal tokens. So he places it over here, and if you're the first person to place it next to a tribal token, no, it's not a tribal token, sorry, a fairy token, my mistake. Fairy token, and it looks like this. You take this fairy token immediately and place it in your play area, in this case for red player there. Moving on to the blue player. Blue player wants to simply see, he wants to place his over here. 0 cards, only 1 player can go there. Moving on to the green player. Green player feels that he really wants certain pearls up here. So if he wants to, he can place it over here for costing 3 cards, but that means he's guaranteed to get a white pearl, which is very valuable. But he can also take a gamble, and hopefully someone else will now take it over there, and then he places it over here. First up here, and he takes this fairy token. He has to play 3. He has to pay 2 cards for that, and then he believes the best way of course of action is to take simply 1 fisherman and 1 lantern in this case. Now, about these cards, you can use them as resources, but you can also play them for their effects. And I will come to the effects in a little bit just after I place these ones, because it will make sense when I place them in a second. But actually, let's take a look at one of them when it's green player's next turn. Okay, now red player is next. Let's see what the red player actually has. Oh, he has fishermen, and he has banners. Okay, let's see here. He's going to take this action here, and he's going to place it over here. That means he actually gains a card. He can choose to take any card from the market display or a random card from the draw pile here. He takes a random card, and he gets a Shamisen. Perfect. Actually, that means, because if you want to play the cards for their effects, you have to play them in pairs, and identical pairs in that case. In this case, he's chosen to play the banner card. The banner card is easy, because after placing a tribe token, which he just did, move one of the other tribe tokens to the top of the turn track. In this case, he can place it like this, and place it like this. That means he gets a second turn in a row, which can be very powerful, especially snagging one of those points on the map where he really wants to play. He also feels he wants to get a villager token, but he doesn't want to pay anything for it, so he places it over there. Now it's up to blue player. Blue player feels that he's kind of limited on the board, but he still wants to do something else. And something else means, very easy, is that I have... he's going to place it over here. Okay, place it on always place it on the top if you can, because you're going to be first pick. He has to pay 1 card for that, and he's going to play his provision card. That's it. Now, however, he's also going to play his lantern card as the effect. That means, after placing a tribe token, take 1 fairy token from anywhere on the board, which can be very powerful. In this case, he takes the only one, which is this one, and he places it in his play area. That means he's done, he's placed everything, and we're back to the green player. Green player is going to simply take his or her last action, and the green player actually has a few options. In this case, the green player is going to place it himself over there to get a new card, and he's going to take a fisherman card, just in case, because they're quite good. And then a new card comes out, and that means he's also going to play a provisions card, because after placing a tribe token, we'll see here if I can show it to you, this is a provisions card. After placing a tribe token, move one of your other tribe tokens from one section to another. Now, he's green, so that means he can't place the one he's just recently placed, but he can take this one. And he feels that the best course of action right now is to place it over here. He doesn't have to pay the cost of the card for that, which is really powerful. So if you play it nice, you can play it, gain a card from, and then take from one of the others from over here that you placed previously, and move it up to a more expensive location. Now, this is the end of this phase, and in this case, this is called the exploration phase. And that means you can also play your fairy tokens as their effect for this one. So let's take a look at the fairy tokens. So fairy tokens, for not everything here is out on the map, but this fairy token is quite nice because it acts as it's called a bonfire fairy. It counts as one of the camp cards of any type. So you can play this one together with a potential card that you have in your hand. You also have this one here, which is good for late game, which is called a breeze fairy. Move up to 3 pearls from your alpaca or any villager tiles to any other villager tiles. And we'll come back to this one in case we need to use it, because we'll do that. Cloud fairies, however, which are, let's see, this one. Cloud Fairy is one of the best in the game, in my opinion, because you can ignore the cost for placing a tribe token on the board, which is really good. Finally, we've got Mushroom Fairies, which is like this one. Make 1 pearl space wild space, we'll come back to that. We have River Fairies. When collecting a pearl, let's collect an additional pearl. So let's see what we can do about collecting pearls. So now let's go into the collection phase. Collection phase means you're simply going to release the floodgate over here, and all these nice pearls are flowing down the track. So if they get stuck, you know, just move them a little bit with your finger. Now, in the collection phase, you release the pearls, and you start at the top left, collect 1 pearl from each tribe token along the rivers. In this case, we have top left, we have green. That means green player here has, he can only select 1 pearl, but he actually has a fishing net. If he can place this one together with another fishing net, he can take both of those, which is really good. And that means he can actually do that if he places his bonfire fairy together with this one. However, he chooses not to do that, and he takes only 1 pearl. He takes the purple one because it's worth more points, and he can also potentially, maybe place it out over here on this one. So in this case, he chooses to place it on his alpaca. That's what he do. Okay, that means he takes this one and lets this one slide all the way down, and he places his tribal token on the bottom of the turn order track, which means he's last for next round. Very, very important. This is how turn order goes. Moving up to the green player is still first, and then he's actually going to take the useless bonfire fairy and discard it, placing it over here with his fishing nets, allowing him to take both of these pearls. Very good. It means it's a white pearl and it's a purple one, placing it on his alpaca as such. Then he simply takes his tribal token and moves it accordingly on the turn order track. Then we've got blue player. Blue player has a choice of, he doesn't have that many cards, he only has 2 cards here, and he's choosing not to use them. He's simply going to take the best pearl, which is the white one, because it's the most valuable one, and places it on his alpaca. Then he releases the rest of the pearls and places his token on the turn order track. Now, red player is next. He has quite a few cards, but he actually has these red cards. So he's going to take these 2. No, he's going to take these 2 fishing nets and snag both of these green pearls and place on his alpaca over here. And then, of course, move it to the turn order track. Then we've got red player again. He's taking and now it's important to simply say he needs to fill his villages here. So he can put a green one over here later, and he can put a pink one, but he needs more pink. So he's simply going to take this pink pearl over here, places it on his alpaca, not more because he doesn't have any fishing net. Or if he had a river fairy, he could have actually collected an additional pearl by discarding the token. Moving up over here, placing this one. As you can see here, they're stuck, so they kind of needs to be moved a little bit. Green player gets to choose another one. Green player here gets to choose a blue pearl. And he gets a blue pearl over here. And then he slides all the way down here, and that means, very easy, that if there's anything left here, the blue player can now take that last pearl. But if there would have been 5 pearls here, for example, he would have been able to take all of them, assuming just that he would have actually had space on his alpaca for the pearls. So he takes this one and moves his on the turn order track. Now, made a little bit of mistake here, making sure that there's actually space for them. Now we're coming up to the villages. The villages means that he is actually first, the blue player, and the blue player is actually going to take this one here, his first pick, and that means he's taking this one over here. This one here allows him to take 1 extra card either from the market draw deck or any of the market face-up cards. And if he managed to fill it in the end, that means he needs to have 4 of the same pearls. No, so sorry, my mistake. I will double check that. You need, yes, 4 of the same color. So that can be really good if you're really trying to collect for it. Here it's 4 different pearls, but in any combination for 4 points. Now, he'll take in this one, and he places in his play area, and that means he also gets 1 card. And he doesn't need to pay anything for it because he already did so before when he placed it. And he's going to take the fishing net token. He really likes this one. However, he actually has a nice trick up his sleeve. He's going to, before he actually places it back on the track, he's going to place the Shamisen. And the Shamisen means that it looks like this. After taking a villager, move your tribe token to the next available slot in the village. There is an available slot. And that means he's placing it over here. That means he can take another villager from over here, which is really good. And he doesn't have to pay anything for it. Now, red player is next. Red player will simply say, take this one over here. Red player is this one. No, the red player will actually take this one over here because he has a lot of green pearls for this one here. And if you manage to get it in the end of the game, if it's full, it scores him 7 victory points. He also takes 2 cards, and it takes these 2 cards over here for this one. Now, he also has a Shamisen card, and he chooses to use it and moves him down here to take another villager to get more cards. Even more cards are resources. Resource allows you to do more things. Blue player again. Blue does not have a Shamisen yet, and he does not have a bonfire fairy that he could potentially use as a Shamisen together with another card or another bonfire fairy. So he simply wants to take this card here, allowing him to simply have... Oh, he takes this one. It means he gets 2 cards for this one, and he takes 2 cards from the deck, placing it face up here so you guys will know what he gets. Otherwise you don't place it face up, of course. And you, of course, replenish the deck accordingly. Keep in mind, you do not replenish the draw deck here as far as I know. If I made a mistake of this one, I will try and correct it in the rule book. Now, in this case here, the blue one comes up over here and places him on the turn track. Red player will simply go first the next round, which is also now the way you can tweak around with this one here. In this case means here, very, very easy. He's going to take this one here for the red player, and he's going to take 2 cards from the draw deck, placing it down over here, and then he places himself on the turn like this. And this is 1 full round, but before you are actually going to the next round, what about this alpaca over here? Now, it's time to move your pearls from your alpaca to your villages, which is now actually called it's also in the collection phase. And there's a last way of in the collection phase. So in this collection phase, he's going to move. Once you move them, you can't move them back unless you have this token, which lets you to move around 3 pearls from one alpaca to any other villager, or from villager to another. So he's going to place himself 1 over here, and then he actually is going to place 1 over here, which is any pearl of his choice. That means blue player is done, and you do all of these things done simultaneously. So in this case, green player has only got 1 villager. He's kind of a bit short on this one, so he's going to place 1 blue over here, 1, but he can't take the purple ones. Now, what about these scoring cards here? If at any point during the game, any person fulfills these requirements of having 3 purple pearls on the alpaca, not in the villagers, he or she can take that card immediately. And that will score that person 4 points in the end of the game. Very important. So these can actually be able to score quite a lot of points if you don't have enough space in the villages. So in this case, the purple player, the green player only needs to take 1 single purple pearl to his alpaca in order to score these 4 points. So that's really, really good. Now the rest of them don't really have that opportunity, because the red player is simply going to move the green one down over here to this one, and the pink one to this one. Now, after this one is done, you are going simply to the preparation phase. You are going to simply take this one up here, and you are going to simply refill it with pearls according to the player count, of course. In this case, it's going to be 9 pearls. Let's see here if we can do this accordingly. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oops, sorry. 4. They're a little bit twiddly. They're really beautiful though. 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1 at random, of course, 9. Okay, after this one is done, you place the fairy tokens on, like I said, on odd rounds on stumps, even rounds on fox statues. So now it's an even round. I'm going to take these 2 at random, these 3, because we're a 3-player game. On foxes, 1 over here, 1 over here, and 1 over here, and you flip them over. Okay, here we got a mushroom one. One more thing about these ones, which we didn't discuss. This one here means that if it's a mushroom fairy, that means, say for example, blue player, actually purple player, this is a good example. Purple player can place the mushroom fairy over here. And that means this one here is a space for a pearl of his or her choice. So this potentially could have been over here. Perfectly fine. If you would have had 2 of this one, it could have been able to fill this one entirely. It can be very useful to do so. Now, after this one is done, you reveal 6 new villages. This one goes over here. This one goes to the bottom of the stack. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And that means you are ready to go for the next phase, the next round of the game. This game continues like this for 5 rounds until you have simply placed 5 rounds and you go to final scoring. I'm going to give you an example of what final scoring looks like. In final scoring, you will count the points for all the pearls you have placed on your villages, not on the alpaca. If the pearls are on the alpaca, they are not scored any points at all, which is really very, very important. Cards in your hand do not contribute to any scoring points unless you have a specific villager that allows you to score points for cards in your hand. Now, important here says that this one. If you want to score this one over here, that means this one needs to be filled with the correct colors, unless of course you use the mushroom fairy for it. In this case, if this full, if you have the most blue pearls on your villages, not alpaca, you will score 7 points. If there is a tie or someone else has it, no one scores a point, and you won't score it either. Important. Otherwise, you will score your points from your villages that have been completed, as well as any possible alpaca scoring cards. And you will total up the winner, and whoever has the most higher score wins 12 rivers. And their tied scores share the victory. In this case, again, I'll repeat, score the pearls on the villages and don't score any pearls left on alpacas. Score villages' tile abilities, such as these ones. Each of these pink pearls is worth 2 points on your villages, even if the villages is not full. That doesn't matter. Score the villager tile abilities, as I said. Score alpaca gold cards, and higher score total wins. This was a short overview of how to play 12 rivers, and I can really recommend this game. I really enjoyed playing it, and it's very, very satisfying, kind of like letting these pearls fall down into the rivers and so on. Now, I have to say one thing. 12 Rivers comes in 2 different editions. The first edition that they released didn't fit in the Kallax IKEA bookshelf. And the pearls were smaller, and there was some slight changes as well on the card art and things like that. Now, this is the second edition, and the second edition fits into the Kallax bookshelf. And more importantly, the pearls are bigger and it feels better. So keep in mind when you see the 12 Rivers, yeah, it might not have been released like, last year. The second edition was released last year, and this is the one that I have. So again, thank you very much to Good Games Publishing and BG Nations for giving me this game. I hope you enjoyed this kind of like short how to play tutorial of how to play 12 Rivers. If you feel that I made a mistake, or you just want to leave a nice comment, or you feel like I want to do something else, or if you even played this game and you enjoyed it, please let me know in the comments. Otherwise, I would also appreciate if you subscribe to my channel, and that means I get some more visibility on YouTube and on Google. I appreciate that. Thank you all to all of you who have subscribed, to my channel as well. And if you plan to go on Essen Spiel this year, let me know and we can maybe meet up and play a game. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.